is linear modulation, and we are studying in that too we are studying the amplitude modulation. So we have basically one thing which is known as message signal or baseband signal, and this is the message or this is the signal which has to be transmitted. This signal contains the information or intelligence. This signal contains the information. Now, for modulation to carry out, we need another signal which is known as carrier. It is basically a high frequency sinusoid. Sometimes for radio transmission we select radio waves of the order of frequency, say megahertz or some 100 kilohertz, 900 kilohertz carrier signals, and over this carrier signal this message signal is superimposed. So there are many kind of superimposition. Superimposition may be applied at the amplitude of this carrier. This means the instantaneous amplitude of carrier, if it varies according to the message signal, then we say that the type of modulation is amplitude modulation. Whose amplitude is varying? Amplitude of carrier is varying. Okay. If the frequency of the carrier signal is modulated according to the instantaneous value of this message signal, keeping all other parameters constant, means amplitude constant, then the kind of modulation comes under the category frequency modulation. And if phase of the carrier is varied according to the message signal or baseband signal, then the kind of modulation is known as phase modulation. So one by one we will study all kind of modulation and their different form. This amplitude modulation may have many different forms. Okay. So let us start with this. So simply saying, if we see, we have a message signal, and this is a laboratory message signal, a single frequency sinusoid wave. Okay. This can be described by the mathematical equation, or analytically it can be written as Vmt equals to Em. We may write it to be as sin omega t or cos omega t. Cos omega t, Vm cos omega t. This is the message signal. This will be imposed upon the carrier signal, and amplitude of carrier will vary according to the instantaneous value of this modulating signal. Okay. Now you see, the carrier is a high frequency signal having angular frequency omega c in radians per second. So what is the analytical expression of this carrier? Vct is equal to Ec cos omega ct. Now if the amplitude of this carrier is varied according to the baseband signal, according to the instantaneous value of baseband signal, then what will be the amplitude of the modulated signal? If we simply talk about the amplitude of the modulated signal, say the amplitude of modulated signal is E, instantaneous amplitude is E. This will be equal to Ec plus k VMT. Okay, this part of the modulated signal I am saying. Okay, amplitude part of the modulated signal. This is unmodulated carrier, expression of unmodulated carrier. This is expression of your baseband signal. This is the expression of the amplitude part of the modulated carrier. Okay. Now, just for the simplicity, you can put this k to be equal to 1. Just for the analytical simplicity, you can put this k to be equal to 1. Now, the modulated expression of modulated amplitude modulated signal can be written like this part will come at the amplitude. So, this is EC plus VMT and cos omega CT. Am I right? And simply you can further write it like this: EC 1 plus this is equal to EM cos omega MT, EM cos omega MT, and this EC will come over here, and then cos omega CT. This is the expression of amplitude modulated wave. Getting it or not? This is the expression of amplitude modulated wave. You see this expression. Okay. Now, if we make an attempt to plot this signal in time domain, how this signal will look like in time domain. Okay. We have this carrier, we have this baseband signal. Now, what will be the shape of this amplitude modulated signal? Here, the amplitude of carrier, the same carrier, is varying according to this signal, is varying according to VMT. Okay, this means this VMT is imposed on this peak amplitude of the carrier. Okay, simply saying, getting my point. And the frequency of that wave, modulated wave, remains the same, omega c. Okay. So, if you see, if you look at the shape of this modulated signal, it will look something like this. Okay. This is the original peak value of your carrier signal. Over this, you see both the tracings, this tracing and this tracing, they are appearing simultaneously to you. This is the unmodulated carrier having peak amplitude EC. Okay. Over this peak amplitude, this baseband signal is imposed, and because of this, the amplitude of this carrier, this amplitude, this instantaneous value rather, it will vary like this. This means this wave which is appearing inside this envelope will have expression like this. Okay. This wave is having expression like this. But you concentrate on this envelope, this dotted line. What is the peak value of this envelope? What is the peak value? If you look from this expression, it attains its peak value. This is the envelope, this is the expression of this envelope, EC 1 plus m cos omega mt. It is the analytical expression of this envelope. Okay, EC 1 plus m cos omega mt. This is this part. Okay. Now, when it attains its maximum value, when cos omega mt is equal to 1. This means what is its peak value? Its peak value is 1 plus m EC. Okay. This you can say that this is E max. E max, maximum amplitude in your amplitude modulated wave. Now, what about the minimum? What about the minimum? When this expression becomes minimum, when this cos omega mt is equal to -1. This means what is the minimum strength that you can obtain? EC 1 minus m. EC 1 minus m, and this is the expression. Okay. So this modulated wave varies between EC 1 plus m to EC 1 minus m. Okay. This is varying between this range. Now what this m is and how can we obtain this m? Let us discuss these things. So if you look at this expression, in this expression we substitute EC 1 plus, this is expressed as m. This means m is equal to Em over EC, and this is called modulation index. Modulation index. Basically it indicates the depth of modulation or the extent of modulation that is being done to the carrier, the depth to which carrier has been modulated. It is measured by the factor modulation index. So this is equal to EC 1 plus m cos omega mt cos omega ct. Getting my point? Now if we further expand this expression, this was equal to VAMT equals to EC cos omega ct plus MEC cos omega mt cos omega ct. Okay, am I right? This is the expression. Now this can further be written using a trigonometric identity like this: EC cos omega ct plus MEC by 2 cos omega c minus omega mt plus MEC by 2 cos omega c plus omega mt. Okay, this is the same expression in which we did some mathematical modification. The same expression is this with some mathematical modification. Okay. Now if you look at this expression, this will give you the frequency domain specification of this signal. A signal have two identity. One of its identity exists, or it can be expressed by its identity in time domain, and second identity of the same signal is in its frequency domain. Okay. Its identity or its significance or its value in frequency domain. What this picture gives you, suppose we plot the strength of this signal in frequency domain, means amplitude at different frequencies. Okay, amplitude at different frequencies. You see, what was there in the original two signals? Originally we have two signals. One is baseband signal and other is carrier signal. If we plot their strength at that particular frequency, so this signal is having a strength Em at frequency omega m, where omega m is very less than omega c. Okay. And just to give you a picture, this omega c happens to be, say, something about 900 kilohertz. For a particular station, I am giving this specification. For a particular radio station, amplitude modulated signal which is being carried by a radio station having carrier frequency, say, 900 kilohertz. And what is the omega m content of the information signal? That is only about 4 kilohertz. The maximum frequency content in the voice signal that is being communicated on a radio channel is about 4 kilohertz. But if it is a music signal, then it may extends up to 20 kilohertz for high definition music. Okay. So if I plot these two things on our frequency domain, how they will look? This means this signal is having a strength, the baseband signal which is appearing over here is having a strength Em at frequency omega m, and for this typical example this omega m is occurring at 4 kilohertz. Now what is omega c? For this typical example it is 900 kilohertz. 900 kilohertz. This means it is far away. This 900 kilohertz frequency is far away from this, or much higher than this 4 kilohertz. Okay. Suppose this occurs somewhere here, and here the signal strength is what? You tell me. It is EC. The signal strength is EC at omega c. These were the original signals that were used in modulation. Now after modulation what happened, and what is the expression in the modulated signal? We are getting the same carrier after modulation also. The same carrier is being obtained in this. This means carrier is there after modulation. And what is there? A signal having a strength MEC by 2, and this signal is situated at frequency omega c minus omega m. Okay. So naturally this will be just 4 kilohertz below to this frequency, because it is omega c minus omega m. So if it is 900 kilohertz for example, so where this signal strength occurs? 896 kilohertz. Okay, this strength will occur at 896 kilohertz, and in a general case it is said that this frequency is omega c minus omega m. And what is the strength? MEC by 2. Okay. Similarly we have the MEC by 2 strength at omega c plus omega m. This means for this example this occurs at 904 kilohertz, and the strength will be MEC by 2. Okay. Basically in the process of modulation what happened, this original information signal which was situated over here, it has been shifted to this point. Simply the process of modulation does a frequency shift. It does a frequency shift with this signal, and it simply makes this signal available around omega c. This is a process of frequency translation. So what happens in the whole process of modulation? A frequency translation. And this frequency translation makes many things easier, makes communication easier, it makes the radiation of signal easier, it makes the antenna length in a practical range, it brings the antenna length of receiver and transmitter in a practical range, so that signal can be radiated and received. Okay. This has been covered in my first lecture. You can go through that lecture. Okay. Now you see, this is the total picture with a laboratory signal. This is basically a lab signal. A single wave sinusoid is a lab signal. In practical domain, what happens? Suppose if I take a practical signal like my voice or some picture. If I take my voice on the baseband, then how it looks like. This is omega c and this is m omega, you can say strength at a particular omega or magnitude at a particular omega. If I take my voice signal as a baseband signal, what happens? It extends from some minimum frequency. It starts from some minimum frequency and it ranges up to say, it may range up to 8 kilohertz, my voice signal. Okay, but most of the or significant part of my voice resides only up to the frequency 4 kilohertz. 98% of the information of human voice is restricted only in this range. So better to forget about this 2%. Okay, why? Because it is taking much bandwidth of the channel, 4 kilohertz bandwidth of the channel. Okay, and it is insignificant, it can be avoided. Okay, so simply we band limit this signal to up to 4 kilohertz. Okay, and we restrict that the maximum frequency present in our voice signal omega m for telephonic conversation, it is restricted to 4 kilohertz. Okay, but actually it may extend up to 8 kilohertz. Okay, now if I wish to modulate this signal through amplitude modulation scheme after a very long gap of frequency, we will have a carrier signal having a strength EC, okay, whose frequency is omega c. Now while the process of modulation, what happens? Simply, if you do all the mathematical analysis, we will see that this signal is simply shifted around this. Okay, and it will take its position around this carrier like this. Okay, so if this is the maximum frequency contained in this baseband signal omega m, so up to which frequency it will extend? It will extend up to omega c plus omega m at this band, which is having frequency higher than this frequency omega c, is known as upper side band. This is upper side band, and it extends up to frequency omega c plus omega m. And we have another band which extends from omega c to omega c minus omega m, and this band is known as lower side band. So you see, frequency translation has been accomplished, it has been achieved, which was the purpose of modulation, which was the basic purpose of modulation. But what byproduct we get, what undesired we get? The signal which was confined only in the range 0 to omega m, now it is confined in the range minus omega m to plus omega m. This means it is having bandwidth now twice of the omega m, and this may be one of the drawback of this amplitude modulation. Okay, the signal which was so thin in frequency band, now it has become twice as much as thick it was here before modulation. Okay, so this may be one of the undesired item after modulation. So how can we get we can get rid of this? I will explain you later, but let us proceed for some other concept. Now, how can we calculate this modulation index experimentally? Experimentally, how this modulation index can be calculated? If you see this picture, you see this is equal to what? E max. E max is equal to EC plus MEC. Okay. E max is equal to EC plus MEC. Simply this is equal to EC plus M is equal to what? EM over EC. So this is equal to EM plus EC. E max is equal to EM plus EC. Okay. Now what about E min? Naturally E min is equal to EC minus EM. EC minus EM. Getting my point? This is E max. Okay. If you take two signals, omega, VCT and VMT, two different signals, if you take, suppose I am having an amplitude modulator, and at the input of this I am applying carrier signal VCT and modulating signal VMT. At the output of this I am getting amplitude modulated signal, which is this. Okay. And now if I apply this signal on a CRO, if I observe this signal on a CRO, this picture will come before you. Okay. Naturally you can take observation for your maximum Emax, maximum voltage content in the modulated signal. You can take observation for minimum voltage content in your modulated signal. I am telling experimentally how can you determine the modulation index. Okay. Now you have this expression. Suppose if you subtract equation number 2 from equation number 1, you do this kind of operation. Okay. What will you obtain? E max minus E min. Okay. And at this side twice of the EM. So naturally it is going to give you EM as E max minus E min by 2. Now if you add expression number 1 and expression number 2, what will you obtain? Twice of the EC is equal to E max plus E min. Am I right? Am I right? So naturally it will give you EC as this. Now you can calculate M is equal to EM over EC simply from this expression, simply from this observation, simply by observing E max and E min. E max and E min, you can calculate modulation index. Getting my point? So what is modulation index? Therefore M equals to E max minus E min over E max plus E min. Okay. Now from this expression you are looking that this value will occur in which range? E max will have some value. E min, if suppose this is equal to 0, this minimum comes up to this point. This may come up to this point. This minimum amplitude can come up to this point, can reach up to this point. In this situation, E min will be equal to 0. Okay. So this will be equal to 1. M will be equal to 1. And when it happens, when E min is equal to 0, it happens only when your EM becomes equal to EC. Means amplitude, peak amplitude of your baseband signal becomes equal to the peak amplitude of your carrier signal. Only in this situation this m will become 1. Getting? There may exist a situation like suppose what I am saying that your EM, if this is equal to your EC, okay, the depth of modulation will be equal to 1. If your EM happens to be 0, as it is observed over here, EM is equal to 0. In that situation, according to your formula, according to this formula, this modulation index is equal to 0. Means there is no modulation. There is no modulation. Okay. So, we can simply conclude that this M is ranging between 1 to 0 in amplitude modulation. Okay. There may occur a situation that M happens to be greater than 1. When this occurs, suppose EM happens to be greater than EC for some instance. EM happens to be greater than EC. Then this negative peak, this will penetrate inside it, and this peak will go beyond this line, go beyond this zero crossing, and this will give you undesired term in the output, and it will be impossible to further demodulate this signal. Modulation is done simply to easily transmit the signal. After modulation, we have to further bring back this baseband signal which has been translated to this frequency range. We have to bring back this signal to its original frequency by some process, and bringing back to its original frequency is known as demodulation. We have to once again obtain our modulated signal at our original band. Only in that situation that will become fruitful to us. Okay. So, if we do this over modulation kind of action, this process is called over modulation. When M becomes greater than 1, this situation is known as over modulation. So, it becomes difficult or impossible to detect or demodulate this signal or to bring back this signal. It will result into the distortion of the original detected signal. Okay. So, this should be avoided in this scheme. Now, you see the frequency picture of the modulated signal. In this frequency domain picture, frequency domain specification, what we are looking that after modulation, both the sideband and carrier is available. Okay. So, this kind of modulation is called double sideband. Sometimes it is called double sideband AM amplitude modulation. Sometimes it is called double sideband full carrier modulation. Okay. Or sometimes people say that this is conventional modulation. There are other scheme of modulation also. You see, after modulation is performed, modulation means shifting of this signal from here to here. Okay. Shifting of this signal, baseband signal, from baseband to the band around this omega c. After modulation is being performed, this carrier signal is now useless. It carries no information. Okay. So, this can be eliminated because this is useless after modulation. So, when we eliminate this carrier and we simply stay with this both the sidebands, then we say that modulation scheme to be double sideband suppressed carrier scheme. I will explain you in my later part of lecture that what it really means, double sideband suppressed carrier scheme, and it is going to give you a certain kind of benefit. Okay. Now suppose instead of sending both the sidebands, if we send only one of the sideband and simply restrict other sideband for its transmission, we say that single sideband suppressed carrier amplitude modulation scheme. Now this is called single sideband suppressed carrier modulation scheme. This I will also explain in my later part of the lecture. Okay. So now let us discuss one more thing. This we performed how we can calculate the modulation index. So now let us discuss one more thing, that is power relation in amplitude modulated signal.